It's time for the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. Now here's your host, Pat DiSabato.
Hello and welcome to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. I am your host, Pat DiSabato from the Southtown Star newspaper. Folks, got a very informative piece for you this week. We're going to have on Tom Mulvey, owner of Athletic Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy. Tom's a licensed physical therapist and exercise physiologist. Best in the business, been doing this for over 20 years, folks, and we've had Tom on the show before. So we're going to talk about some sprains and strains of the lower back, what the differences are, strength and conditioning, talk about rehabilitation. Obviously, that's where Tom's expertise is. He's got two locations, folks. We're at the one in Hometown, 4114 Southwest Highway, right down the street from my favorite breakfast joint in the whole world, Billy's Diner. And also another location in Orland Park. We taped at the Orland Park location last year, 11140 West 179th Street. And folks, I've personally had friends who've taken their kids here, and I'm talking any sport, doesn't matter, soccer, baseball, softball, basketball, track and field. Tom can get you back on the road to recovery, and also he knows the stuff about preventative medicines and things you need to do to maintain peak physical form. All right, folks, so we are going to go to a Beggar's Pizza timeout. Go to beggarspizza.com, folks. You get some coupons, get a couple bucks off those pizzas. We return. Tom Mulvey, owner of Athletics, will be our guest. Stay tuned.
For over 30 years, Beggar's Pizza has been delivering you great pizza your whole family will love. But don't forget, it's not only our award-winning thin, stuffed, and deep dish pizza. We have great pasta, salads, desserts, sandwiches, and more. Our meals are prepared with the finest ingredients available, making sure you go home happy every time. Whether it's your team's victory bash, a birthday party, or just a nice night out of the kitchen, enjoy a great Beggar's Pizza at home or dine in at one of our many Chicagoland locations.
Having surgery or dealing with some type of nagging pain that limits your function? Then get to Athletics. We offer treatment for all types of orthopedic injuries, work-related injuries, and sports injuries. Therapists with over 20 years of experience provide treatment that is efficient and effective. Our 2,000 square foot clinics offer state-of-the-art equipment from HydroTrack, Blankenship, and Biodex. If your doctor suggests physical therapy, then you suggest Athletics, where every patient is treated like a champion.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. All right, our guest this week, Tom Mulvey, owner, physical therapist, and exercise physiologist of Athletic Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy. That's a mouthful, folks. Tom's a longtime supporter. Tom, thanks a lot for coming on board.
Thanks for having me.
All right, as the custom when we have you on as our guest, we talk about different phases, body situations that athletes incur throughout their careers. So this is an educational platform for parents and kids, specifically student athletes. We're going to delve into some lower back situations, particularly sprains and strains. It sounds like a common thing, Tom, but you being the expert that you are, kind of let us know what's the difference between a strain and a sprain of the lower back.
A strain is by definition something that occurs to contractile tissue, to muscle, tendon. By comparison, a sprain is something that happens to more inert tissue, the ligament or the joint capsule, really ligament that joins bone to bone in the joint.
Okay, and something about what they are not.
Sure. So if we look at sprains first, a lot of times people will attribute that if somebody has a sprain, that is really just the result of some kind of weakness that they had in that area. It's a very small percentage of the problem. Really, the problem lies in the fact that you have a joint structure that was overexposed to load, and usually, as we talked about, say in a muscular strain, that the muscle and tendon received excessive load, in which point small little tears can occur into the tissue, and that can be an acute kind of occurrence, which really one maybe heavy trauma that occurs, or it could be something that's more chronic, in which it's the result of some repetitive type injury.
Okay.
Like for instance, you saw Luol Deng with the Bulls just the other night with a hamstring strain. By comparison, again, back to sprain, you have again something that can occur from one excessive load, one excessive trauma, or the result of some repetitive trauma. The biggest difference is then with a strain, you're going to produce that pain by making the muscle contract, or by elongating that muscle and causing a contraction, or by being able to specifically palpate that area during the time that you make that muscle contract to help differentiate. As much as with a sprain, also you will elongate that area of the joint to isolate that structure. But the other interesting thing that comes with a sprain is that depending on the degree to which it occurs, you have to worry about excessive mobility in the joint.
Yep.
And that's when you start to think about perhaps using some type of guarding, bracing, whatnot, as well as rehabilitation.
Okay. In terms of how these things occur, in terms of a sprain and a strain, and what is the mechanism of the injury?
So again, we talked about the load is the primary precursor to the injury, but you have athletes that are perhaps not conditioned enough, athletes that are perhaps overly conditioned, so that the exposure results from situations in which this excessive load that is put on a particular joint occurs, and they just don't have the endurance in the musculature to be able to withstand that load, and they don't have perhaps the balance or the coordination to control it. Sometimes when we talk about specifically into the back, they'll refer to other injuries that correspond that really, again, they're not. Pain down the leg is not usually attributed to something that's more of a sprain or a strain. It's usually something that's attributed to another muscular injury that occurs in a different position. So when you look at the mechanism, you want to make sure that, and that's really what we're getting to here, in that programs that are designed help these kids to prevent injury.
Yep. Now, how do people know whether they have a strain or a sprain? How does that?
Again, the easiest way to know, it's not easy, but the easiest way to know is that when you have that joint in a more of a restful position, if you get the pain as you contract a muscle, the tendency is that it's going to be a strain. A sprain doesn't necessarily have pain when you contract the muscle. Its pain comes from just taking the joint and giving it a little bit of a stretch that puts that inert ligament structure into a lengthened position to cause it to have pain.
Okay. And what can be done to treat the problem?
You should first, obviously, if the problem persists for greater than 24 hours, it really needs to get checked. And the first thing that you would do is to use your ice, your elevation, those types of things to treat it as first aid. And then secondly, you would consider a course of some type of rehabilitation, something that's going to be hands-on so that the expert can determine for you which it is, because really the avenue you're going to go will be different. If it's more ligamentous, that it's a sprain, you want the program to be more stabilization, making sure that you're allowing that ligament to really have a resting period, an immobilized period, and a period of strengthening in which it gets somewhat tighter.
Yeah.
And when it's strained, you want to be able to feel the specific area in which you have irritation, where you have some fiber disruption, and treat it with modalities and hands-on techniques to really expedite the healing.
And a back injury is a son of a gun, man. But what can be done to prevent it?
You should, first of all, I stress to parents to make sure that you're involved, really involved in your athlete's program. Make sure that there is some conditioning that's done. Make sure that there's some flexibility that's done. Make sure that there's core strengthening that's done. It really is not very frequently the problem that their back is weak. It's more a situation in which their core is not there, their balance is not there. Be involved with them. Make sure there's supervision when they have lifting and those specific things, and make sure that the coaches really have a plan in which they're progressing to have this player as a better athlete, not an injured athlete in which they're just, not able to progress and to perform at their peak.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to go to a Lisa Thomas Salon timeout, folks. When we return, more with Tom Mulvey. We're going to hit on strength and conditioning and, what changes occur with training. So we're going to delve into that. Even kids are, obviously involved heavily with strength and conditioning these days. So very informative piece coming up. So stay tuned. More with Tom Mulvey from Athletics.
What teen doesn't want to be in style with the latest trends? What teen doesn't want the hottest cuts at an affordable price? It's time to get noticed with the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club, where girls get a cut and style for just $27 and guys get a cut and style for just $17. Get the right look for the right price at the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club. Your style, perfect style. Only at Lisa Thomas Salon.
For over 60 years, Standard Bank has been a part of your neighborhood, supporting sports and other activities, working with communities as they grow and thrive, helping businesses and families to reach their financial goals. In communities all over Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, your neighborhood is our neighborhood.
Let us help you reach your financial goals with products like Student e-checking, specially designed to make money management easier for students and their parents. Learn more at standardbanks.com. Member FDIC.
If you're in the mood for some of the finest barbecue in the Southland, then Bona Pit Grill and Smokehouse in Palos Heights is the place for you and your family. Whether it's ribs, chicken, brisket, pulled pork, or any other barbecue favorites, Bona Pit serves up a flavor explosion in a championship form. We also offer steaks, seafood, sandwiches, a mouth-watering nachos platter, and salads in a casual atmosphere, with the option of either dining inside or on our heated patio. Watch the big game in our full-service bar or call ahead for pickup. Bona Pit in Palos Heights. Hello, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. If you're just joining us, our guest this week, Tom Mulvey, owner and physical therapist of Athletic Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy. Before we hit on the strength and conditioning, Tom, we should let the people know that, hey, when it comes in terms of experts in their field and helping out student athletes, how much of your business revolves around the whole student athlete, injuries and rehabilitation?
Quite a bit of it. And injuries occur in competitive play, and really there's not a lot of control that can be done to avoid those things. But the unfortunate thing is that we also get young athletes that are just injured conditioning. And that's the unfortunate thing, is that we really want to try, we do what we can to educate parents and to educate the athletes themselves to really participate not just physically but also mentally in their program, and really learn about what they should or shouldn't be doing.
Yep, and that's the key, man. Education is, and that leads to prevention when you're educated.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so strength and conditioning, Tom, let's talk about what changes occur with training, first off, and what are the type of weight trainings that exist right now? Because things change all the time, right?
Absolutely. Training is performed to make the athlete more efficient, to make them better, to make them able to perform their task, better than perhaps somebody else that's at that same position. But it's also done to help prevent injury.
Yep.
And it's gotten very, very specific over the years, and people are getting very good at being able to teach these kids what they should be or shouldn't be doing. But sometimes the parents, I think, are looking for programs that will, make these kids feel pain or feel soreness after they're done, and they look at that as if that's a successful program. Really what the program should involve is things that are targeted specifically for their sport, things that are really specific about the intensity and duration, things that are, have a goal, a short-term goal and a long-term goal as to where they want to see that young athlete be at the end of the summer, and take them into the season.
Some items here: strength, bodybuilding, endurance, right? Hybrid mixture, all types of different things.
Sure. Just strengthening when you look to do activities to strengthen, you are looking at a high resistance. You want near maximal contraction. You use what's called a 1 rep max as a measure. And this is specifically as you get, especially as they get older. A 1 rep max is what they can do one time. And then you take a percentage of that. And for strengthening, you want to be greater than 85% of that as a kind of a target. And you go in sets of greater than or equal to around 6 reps.
Okay.
And then when you go into power, which is another form of strength, you'll go about 75 to 90% of that 1 rep max, 6 to 12 reps. And both of those you're targeting specific fibers of the muscle that function to do those activities. As you get into power, bodybuilding, now you're looking to isolate very specifically different types of muscle. You'll use, they say, 67 to 85% of a 1 rep max, and you'll do 6 to 12 repetitions, but you won't give yourself a lot of time in between sets to really recover. And the movement will be not quite through full range so that you're inducing a shortening effect on the muscle. And then finally, an endurance type activity that with endurance you're going to go to greater than or equal to about 67%, the research says, of a 1 rep max, but you're going to do more than 12 repetitions per set. And the idea is you want to target a different group of muscle now specifically, and obviously that depends on an endurance activity for the athlete.
Let's talk about the changes, muscular changes that occur with training.
Right. You have changes in the size of the muscle fiber. You have increased numbers of muscle fibers. You also have physiological changes that occur on a cellular level, where the mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cell, the research shows that they become more prevalent, larger, and more in greater number. And the efficiency of the enzymes making the use of energy occurs with training. So there are very, very important things that occur when you go through this type of activity. And it's important that the person that's teaching these kids really is aware of it. Diet, proper sleep, all of these things come into play when they're training at a higher and higher level.
And how do you know what type of exercises should be done?
I think now with the internet, you have access to everything. I mean, you really can do a little bit of homework and you can see for a basketball player, typically what types of activities are performed. For a football player, what activities are performed, and for the swimmer. With swimming, there's so much mobility is thrown on the shoulder. You want some stabilization. For a pitcher, so much motion is thrown into that shoulder. You want some stabilization. For a football player, you want power. Yep. You want, so you want to look and do your research and see that if the information that you find matches up with the person that's teaching your young athlete, and if it isn't, ask questions.
Yeah, questions. Yeah, and again, it goes back to being educated. What point should parents be aware of, regarding their children and weight training?
I really stress, number one, that it's supervised, because we see young athletes coming into the office that are left to lift unsupervised, and I really think that's a major problem. And technique is not taught. That's another major problem. But I think the most important thing is that just know that the quality of the program isn't based on the fact that whether or not your son or daughter can't get out of bed the next morning.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're that sore,
yeah.
Something's wrong. The idea here is to make them perform better and to perform safer in the long run, and not to limit their functional mobility.
Yep. Okay. All right, well, Tom, once again, a wealth of information for us, man. And I've obviously had friends that have come here and had to rehab, and I mean, you're the go-to guy in this area for rehabilitation for our student athletes, and you do a great job, man. Again, thanks for being a major supporter here of a Coach's Corner show.
No problem.
All right.
Program. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to go to an athletics. How do you like that? Ironically, an athletics timeout. When we return, we're going to have some results, Coach of the Week, Players of the Week. We're going to have all kinds of good stuff, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Having surgery or dealing with some type of nagging pain that limits your function? Then get to Athletics. We offer treatment for all types of orthopedic injuries, work-related injuries, and sports injuries. therapists with over 20 years of experience provide treatment that is efficient and effective. Our 2,000 square foot clinics offer state-of-the-art equipment from HydroTrack, Blankenship, and Biodex. If your doctor suggests physical therapy, then you suggest athletics, where every patient is treated like a champion.
Are you interested in bringing the most effective form of advertising to your small business? Introducing A Vital Need Marketing, bringing your business text marketing. Your business, your offers can be in front of your customers at a moment's notice. The most powerful way to communicate with your customers is text messaging.
To discuss this new, affordable way to reach your customers, call 630-205-7351 or go to avitalneed.com.
Looking for a lunch you won't soon forget? Check out the new Beggar's Lunch Buffet. Of course you'll find the great thin crust, stuffed crust, and deep dish Beggar's pizza you love, but our buffet goes even further. We have soups, salads, Italian beef, Italian sausage, pasta, and chicken. And don't forget about Beggar's famous cookie pizza for dessert. For only $7.95, it's an incredible deal. From 11 until 2, Monday through Friday, this is a can't-miss lunch that has something for everyone. So get to a Beggar's near you today.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. Again, I'd like to thank Tom Mulvey, owner of Athletics, Sports, and Orthopedic Physical Therapy, for being our guest. Always one of the finest and most informative guests we have. All right, Standard Bank text poll question of the week, folks. Chance to win a $50 gift card. Compliments of Standard Bank. Who will score more points Friday night? All right, text A for Stag, Sean Dwyer. Text B for Lincoln Way North's Cody Murphy. All right, now text your answer to 708-267-7497. A or B. All right, text your number 3 with the correct answer. We'll receive a $50 gift card. Compliments of Standard Bank. All right, let's shift into results mode, sponsored by Athletics. Results from last week, Crete Monee 63, Rich South 57 for Crete Monee. Laquan Treadwell had a heck of a week, 18 points, 11 boards. Mark Connor had 16 points for the Warriors. For Rich South, Dimitri Strickland had 17 points and 9 rebounds. Miles McCoy, 9 points for the Stars. Game out was at Lincoln Way North 66, Thornton 51. For Thornton, Justin Taylor had 17 points, Brian Nicholson had 14. For Lincoln Way North, very impressive performance by the Phoenix. Daryl Morgan, 23 points. Trey Lewis had 14 points. Cody Murphy had 12 points, and Ryan Pellick had 8 points. For a North team that seems to be coming together, could be a very, very dangerous team. Revis 64, Argo 46. For Revis, Ed Puha, 22 points, 11 boards. Nick Ball, 19 points. For Argo, Ryan Krob had 14 points. Jalen Turner had 13 points, and Tyler Mitchell had 12 points. Seton Academy 61, Providence 50. Celtics in a little bit of a funk right now. Kevin Kozin had 12 points and 6 boards. Miles Boykin had 9 points. Nick Donardi had 9 points, and Jay Ramadure had 9 points, all for the Celtics. For Seton, Mark Weems with 22 points. Alex Foster, Minnesota-bound Alex Foster had 11 points and 11 rebounds for Seton. Andrew 59, Thornwood 42. For Andrew, Jabril Adekoya, 29 points, 11 boards, another day at the office. Lauren Leisha, 18 points for Andrew. Marion Catholic 67, Belvedere North 54. For Marion Catholic, Tyler Eulis, 17 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Tremendous season by Tyler. Tyrone Parham Jr. had 11 points for Marion Catholic. All right, folks. Labriola Bakery Cafe Golden Baguette Player of the Week. We're going to give it to Revis boys basketball player Eddie Pua, 22 points to help the Rams defeat rival Argo 64-46. The Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club Player of the Week. Going to give it to Stag girls basketball player Casey McMahon. Scored 20 points to lead the Chargers to a 51-31 win over TF North. We'll hook Casey up with a nice little goodie bag from Lisa Thomas Salon. The Bona Pit Grill and Smokehouse Coach of the Week. Sandberg Wrestling Coach Eric Seibert led the Eagles to the Southwest Suburban Conference Tournament Championship at least the second time in a row. Eagles a perennial power in wrestling. So we're going to hook up Eric Seibert. Nice little $25 gift card. Compliments of Bona Pit Grill and Smokehouse in Palos Heights, 122nd Street in Harlem and Palos. Outstanding, tasty barbecue. All right, folks, we are going to go to a Labriola Bakery Cafe timeout. When we return, high and tight. Stay tuned.
Looking for a unique dining experience with incredible food? Then check out Labriola Bakery Cafe. Opened by Rich Labriola, Chicago's premier artisan baker, you know they'll have great bread, but you won't believe the rest of their menu. Wood-fired Neapolitan pizzas, fresh pasta, and their world-famous Richie Burger. There's also homemade gelato and, of course, their famous bread. Labriola Bakery Cafe and Neapolitan Pizzeria, conveniently located in the Oak Brook Promenade.
What teen doesn't want to be in style with the latest trends? What teen doesn't want the hottest cuts at an affordable price? It's time to get noticed with the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club, where girls get a cut in style for just $27 and guys get a cut in style for just $17. Get the right look for the right price at the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club. Your style, perfect style. Only at Lisa Thomas Salon.
Since 1970,
Standard Bank & Trust has been a landmark at the corner of 95th and Western. We're still at the same convenient location, and we're better equipped to serve your needs. So stop by and meet our friendly, professional staff. They provide personalized service and a wide range of products to help both businesses and individuals reach their financial goals. In the Evergreen Park area and in communities all over Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, we're your neighborhood bank. Learn more at standardbanks.com. Member FDIC.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. All right, folks, high and tight. My guy, Laquan Treadwell from Crete-Monee, last week announced his college destination, and it's Ole Miss. Ole Miss. I mean, he could have gone pretty much anywhere in the country, whittle his destinations down to like 4 or 5 different schools: Michigan, Michigan State, Oklahoma State, and Ole Miss. He chose Ole Miss, and some people are on him a little bit. Why are you going to Ole Miss? You know, not a perennial powerhouse right now, but let me tell you something, folks. The recruiting classes this new coaching regime has brought in this season and last season is pretty spectacular. Ole Miss is on the rise, man, and getting a player like Laquan Treadwell is only going to expedite their progress and development among the elite. Nice choice, and the fact that he has a fellow Crete-Monee graduate, Anthony Standa, for a DB already at Ole Miss. Hey, you know, he's got someone down there he knows, and Laquan wants to be a part of something of resurgence. So, and he will definitely help Ole Miss turn the corner and rank among the elite down the road. So I think it's a good choice for Laquan. We'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.